Hello, Kabbalists.
Hello.
Kabbalists.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
hello, people of Earth. How are we doing today, guys? Everyone good?
Ooh, it's
I
Yeah.
a
feel,
it's a day.
yeah, I
It,
feel a little something in the air, Chris. What's going on?
Work. It's just it's weird. Sometimes you gotta jump from work to spiritual explanations, and you gotta reorient yourself.
Nice mug, Saf. Yes, I
I was
understand.
gonna say, I want one of those. I want one of those.
well, the my camera is mirrored, so it's you back. You know, you back. It's
There was
it's
one.
like
There's
it's
one
like
guy. I don't.
Cabu, just the other way around. Yeah.
There's one guy. I don't remember what his name is. I think it's Irv, but he always calls it Kaboo.
Cabu.
But
Yeah. I
I
mean,
s-
it just
at the
means
last
that Kabbalists are not the best at branding and marketing. That's
at
that's
the
not our strength. Yeah.
yeah, our show used to be called the Quran Team. Um, so at the previous retreat, I bought some mugs, some some Kabu hats, some Kabu sweatshirts to send to Leo and Os.
Wait! You just inadvertently plugged the Kabi retreat. Everybody, there is a Kabi retreat taking
Oh,
place in just what is it? A month and a half. A month and a
Oh my
half.
God!
It's a hybrid event, virtual and physical. This means that wherever you are in the world, you have an opportunity to go for a 3 day immersive Kabbalah experience where we really actualize this wisdom of Kabbalah on ourselves, on our flesh, our inner flesh, our desire, and it's a very unique experience. Maybe we'll throw a few words about it later on. But retreat.kabbalah.info. This is the URL. I'll post something
Yeah,
in
post that in
the
the
in the
chat.
chat. Yeah.
So at the retreat that was in the Catskills, I got Leo and Os mugs and hats and sweatshirts, and I sent a big box to them in Israel. Like he thought I was lying to him, but like 6 or 7 months later, the box came back to my house, like all smashed up and whatever.
oh,
Yeah, so I still
oh.
have it. I unboxed it, but I have all the stuff here. So next time, Leo, next time I see you, I'll give it to you. Guys, we are,
Yeah.
as you know who you are, as we know who we are. For everyone who's here, hello, first of all. We are students of the wisdom of Kabbalah. We're looking at what is going on in the world through the lens of the wisdom of Kabbalah. Very, very interesting story, which I didn't care at all about when you guys pitched it on
True.
Monday, but
You
I've
didn't care.
grown to become very interested, and I love this story now. Um,
We knew it. We knew you would. We knew you'd come around. We
It
knew
it
you would.
it was supposed to be up your alley to begin with. We just
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
yeah, you. Everyone thinks I have different alleys, but okay. In the story today is about TikTok, and as Kabbalists, let's just talk about what the story is first, and then we'll get
Yeah.
into why, how, what.
Sure.
In 2020, TikTok had 10 million users in the United States. A small
Ah, no way.
but
I didn't know that.
significant,
That's the
yeah,
first
small
time
but
I'm hearing that was the number at 2020. Wow.
yeah, 10, 10
Yeah.
million
Because I
users.
know the
Let's
number
say
today. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody whose business had 3% of the entire population of the US is probably feeling good about themselves. That's a pretty good business. Today, TikTok has 150 million users in the United
150 million.
States,
The US
which is
population is what? 300,
500,
a
330
little north of
million?
300. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like 45% of the
Half
entire
the
population. I don't
country.
understand that.
How is
I don't
that
get
even
it.
possible?
I'm
Wow.
not sure. I'm not
And
on TikTok. I don't get it,
And I don't know
but
if you're
yeah.
going to say that, but I hear the average is they spend 90 minutes a day on average on the app. So 150
The
million.
average demographic has the average, right? Which is like
Yeah, I
33
mean,
years old or something,
yeah, and the average, that's
which
another
is
interesting
also
thing. In 2020,
shocking,
10 million
right?
people, it was probably mostly teenagers doing dance moves. And today it's like, the average age is 31, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's
Wow.
it's it's phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go
Today,
ahead. Yeah.
okay, so today TikTok's CEO, Xiao Chu, I think is how you pronounce it, is testifying before the United States House Commerce Committee. Does TikTok, a Chinese owned company, and we know here that the United States government, for example, the FBI, had agents inside of Twitter, and all the big government agencies are involved with Google and Facebook, Microsoft, IBM, etc.
Let's be
So
clear. Let's be clear. Involved meaning that your private information, which Google has and Facebook has and whatever, is also available to the government. Period. Right?
So
Let's
does
just can
TikTok,
we?
right? So
Yeah.
does TikTok, a Chinese-owned company, present a national security risk? I think this is,
That's what they were trying to figure out at this
yeah.
hearing
I could
or
tell them
whatever
yes,
it
it
is.
does, but it's not a Kabbalistic story just to tell them yes, and obviously it does, and it's all theater. But so there's a lot of angles here. We already covered on the show, guys. Am I peaking? Is my mic peaking? If it is, please
I
let me know.
haven't really heard it.
Okay, there's many angles here. We covered before. We talked about social media a bunch of times. Children being served sexually explicit material. By the way, there's parts of our population who don't think that's a problem. That's another thing, but we're just saying what people are complaining about.
Hmm.
Eating disorders, drugs, suicide, uh, a lot going on with TikTok besides just national security, meaning like is another I guess the main question is, does another government have access to our data, and then and maybe an enemy government, and then can that enemy government then influence the opinion? Could you imagine? Is it possible that social media could influence our opinions? That's a question that everyone should think about. So,
We want to be the one influencing, not China.
um, so this is the story. This is the story. There's so many angles. I was waiting for one of you guys to already jump in about
Well,
something.
I
Well,
would
wait a
jump in.
second. It's not.
Okay.
All at once.
We're jumping. Here we jump. Here we jump. Go ahead, Asaf. I don't really
One of the things
have a
that
straight
we
sense.
all let's share with our friends here. By the way, hello everyone. Hello everyone. It's so great every week to see this TGT nation, TGT community, however you want to call it. You know, just seeing all those greetings and hearts, and everyone coming together to
Oh, I should open that. Good. Good
to
reminder.
connect. All right, yeah, just got a little whiff of that chat. I want to share with everyone that during this week, when we said in the beginning of the week, "Hey, this thing's happening with TikTok. Let's talk about it." Since then,
Oh, so hold on. We
uh,
didn't say. There's a,
mhm.
a ban. The question
Oh,
is,
right.
should the U.S. ban that TikTok app? That's the
Right.
story.
This is what's in
That's why
question.
they're competing.
This is what's in question. This is what's happening right now in Congress. This is why the TikTok CEO is testifying in the hearing. And this is what, and that's what I wanted to say, this is what a lot of people on TikTok right now are really riled up about, right? So we've been, since, throughout this week, the three of us have been exposed to some of the rants that people on TikTok are posting about this issue, the TikTok ban controversy, and it's such a, again, we're a little bit looking at it, as somewhat of outsiders, we have to say, but it's such a controversial thing. Immediately you see camps. People are like, and there's people going viral with like their rants about how TikTok is the light tower of free speech, and other
Oh,
people are saying,
yes.
"What are you talking about? TikTok's not your friend. TikTok is Chinese owned government something something."
Well, you
And
should
then
make
people,
it. You
and,
should
and
build that argument a little bit because, for at least for me, I was thinking, like you said,
mhm.
teenagers dancing, doing all kinds of what's it called, viral moves, right? That's what I think. But apparently, after I was exposed to some of these things, apparently, like we even mentioned, the average demographic now is around 30 something years old. So you've actually got a platform which has turned into an actual social media platform where you have people interacting, even intellectually. It's not just all about selling stuff. It's not all about likes. It's actually about
True.
people interacting. And that part I didn't understand existed within the app. I thought it was something completely. Now I understand why there's over 100 million people, because it's actually there's actually a benefit. There's an actual benefit that
What's the
probably
benefit?
there. The benefit is that I get to be exposed to the people that are like me. I get to have conversations with them. I get to connect with other people, like Facebook set out to do from the
So
start.
One of the things, Seth, that people are talking about on TikTok in response to this ban is that the way the app works is very different, algorithmically speaking, from all the other apps. And what they mean in simple words is, wow, I'm posting things, I'm no one, and then within a few days, I actually get a little bit of a tribe, a community around the stuff that I care about. The algorithm actually works in a way where there is more opportunity, more chance for people to get known, to become known, to go viral, the algorithm works in such a way that is different. So that's something that a lot of people are saying. Another thing, another voice that you hear is from all of the creators on TikTok who are making money from it. There are 5 million businesses in the US that rely on TikTok, mostly small businesses, right? There's this is a lot. This is like, it's there's
Yeah.
there's an
That's not
economy.
nothing.
There's an economy that's basically TikTok driven. So that you have that voice of those people who are saying, you're banning TikTok, you're taking away my sustenance, you're taking away my job. And then you have people on the other hand who are saying, no, it's all, this is a very manipulative way by which the Chinese government is controlling the US, controlling American public, controlling American information. So it's very, and then, and another, yet on the other hand, you have
There's
a lot
a lot. There are
there's a
many.
lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that
many
people.
angles to the story.
Okay,
And
yeah,
it's like,
many
how to
angles.
jump into this.
People are very, very, riled up. They're very, very angry and and vocal. There's people are talking like to Biden. You can't do. I elected you. To whatever. For this and this and that, and now you're taking this away from me. So just looking at it, zooming out and looking at all of that messy, controversial kind of dividing to camps, and everything's like political, and it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that's happening. Is that where you want to go, Seth? Should we ask who's right or wrong? Who's right or wrong? What is the is that the answer we're supposed to give?
There's so many interesting angles here, but before we get into the phase of the movie where we start like running from the bad guys or going after the treasure, we kind of have to like set up the whole drama of it first. So let's say let's think of something embarrassing a little bit. If suppose a person has a rash somewhere.
Okay.
Suppose you have a rash in your pants. Okay.
Right.
First
now?
thing you do is you're like,
Well, that's not somewhere. That's pretty specific.
okay. So first thing you do is like this. What does it mean if I have a rash that looks like this? Right.
You Google it. Okay.
Google knows. Google knows about your rash, right? Then something happens. You suspect that someone's cheating on you or that someone's lying to you. It's like, what are the signs?
How do I know?
Somebody is lying to me. Right?
Okay.
So what happens is the internet, Google, Facebook, Instagram. How about this? You're looking at something. You're looking at a 100 pictures. You Google something, and all these pictures come up. You start scrolling through the pictures. You see one you like. You stop on it, and you zoom in on it.
Right.
You zoom in on the shoe, or you zoom in on the place, or you zoom in on her eye, or you zoom in on anything.
Okay.
Google also knows this, or the internet knows this.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say, and which is an added layer before we get to the drama of the story and why and how and who, is that Google and TikTok, because the more intricate it is, the more they know. But Google, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, they know more about you than your rabbi, your priest, your imam. They know more about you than
In a
friends.
sense, they know more than yourself. They
They
know
know more
more than
about you
yourself.
than
Why?
yourself.
Because simply put, they're investigating you from a longitudinal perspective with an expert data collection and analysis that you will never have unless you hire someone to do it for you. They look at what you do over time and analyze your behavior, your patterns, your search patterns, your clicking patterns, your websites you go to, and so forth. So they can actually predict what you're going to buy when and push you material accordingly.
Not only,
Yeah.
yeah. So buying, of course. So speaking of buying, so everyone should feel that first of all.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
should feel to get into this. And where
Get
we wanna
out of the
go with this.
bubble in which you think that
stop
you
thinking
are
that
your
you're-
own person and no one knows anything about you and you have your individual privacy and freedom and no one can get into your stuff. Your stuff is everyone else's. There's so little that you do today that is not being monitored, collected, and documented in some shape or form. So hello,
now
21st century. Yeah. Okay. Now what?
Okay. And as Kabbalists, we're way zoomed out on all this, but it's interesting to look at all the phenomena down here in order to then see where what we want to talk about spiritually. So now let's add on top of that if you have, what did we say, 150, almost 50% of the U.S. on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, spending all of this. How much
still
time did you say
crazy
they're
to
on
me.
TikTok?
90 minutes a day on average.
90 minutes.
Okay, which means they're not on Instagram. They're not on Facebook. They're
All
not
of that precious
on-
time.
Oh, well, they
Precious
could be a
human
little bit.
attention is
Definitely
being
not
spent
Facebook, probably.
on a Chinese app. Oh no.
Right. So we should come up with another word besides Chinese. But
Yeah,
when you say it, I know
The-
what you mean.
yeah.
I know what you mean. What you mean is the enemy of the U.S. is
Yeah,
the
just
point,
in terms of
so
how
to
it's
speak.
perceived. Yeah,
China.
but you're
Right.
right. We should be careful with our.
So the point is that everything is just a movie. No, I'm just kidding. The point is that there's so many. If you see in front of your eyes that the government is saying like we need to ban TikTok, you have to understand this is not just simply it's not like Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker. Like we thought when we were kids, it's just good versus bad. Nothing is like that. There's many layers and how and why. So if companies like Google and companies like Facebook are losing a huge amount of revenue, so they go and they speak to all of their friends in the government and tell them, listen, we need to ban this. And there's ways that happens also. So there's
And lo and behold, this is a bipartisan thing.
Very bipartisan.
No one is resisting.
No one disagrees with this.
No one disagrees.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
hey. When it comes to TikTok, we are left, right, Trump, Biden. Who are? Come on, we're all one.
what's the
we're all
saying?
one. We're all unified. But
Our
that's
enemies, our friends,
enemies
our
unite
common
us.
enemies, friends are what's the saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, or there's something like that.
How does it? Yeah, the enemy, no, yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
But yeah, it's sure. We
So what's really interesting, and if we can start to get a little Kabbalah-y about it, to me is
we will.
the mixture.
We will.
I see the mixture of I'll call it the Malchut Bina. I'm not saying which one's Malchut, which one's Bina, but all of a sudden, what happens now is everything is totally mixed, right? All of a sudden, now the people are saying, TikTok is the free speech platform. What?
Yeah, such an interesting. Wait. What you just said. Let's just put it in perspective. This is very interesting. You see today on TikTok with the whole controversy, you see young people, for instance, saying exactly that. I watched a few of these things. They're saying exactly that. They're glorifying TikTok as the light tower of free speech, and this is so ironic.
Actually, compared to the other.
Sure,
it might be.
Sure, it might be.
Do the Chinese have any involvement? Do they want to try and censor what Americans are saying? I don't think so.
This is so interesting that it's coming from a country that has a very different kind of regime when it comes to free speech and democracy.
We're outsourcing our free speech.
We can really understand
the intricacy is so interesting. that this
You
is
can
what's
learn.
happening now in the world, you know. Yeah.
We learned in Bala Islam's Freedom article, and we study in the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah, how everything develops according to four phases. But everyone looks at, our simple way of looking at everything is just like Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. Like we think everything is
Yes,
clean, but
who's
the
the good
way that
guy,
things,
who's the bad guy, who's
who's
good,
good, who's bad, when is it happening like this? Because, for
yeah,
example, if you
who's a
want to, if
messenger
you
of
put,
God and who's a messenger of the devil. That's
That's
right,
basically, you
right.
know, and that's what we
because
learned from
devil,
Yeah.
Hollywood, you know, as well. It's like the good guy and the bad
So
guy,
from the beginning, we're
the
very
hero and the
confused.
villain.
From
You
the
know,
very beginning, it's
we're
very
looking
confusing.
for that prism, you know, in the story, just as we look for it in everything. Who's the good guy? Who's
Everything
this
else, yeah.
binary prism of good and bad? Yeah.
if you search on Instagram or I don't know on Google about COVID, about some alternative, you're immediately going to get fed only the party line information. And if you looked at something else, there's going to be a disclaimer, this is not approved by the FDA,
Right.
all of this party line things, which shows the government management inside there. But if you go on TikTok, from what I understand, it's not. You can have both sides of the conversation without that. So somehow, from the Chinese government's dictatorial, autocratic regime that has a million Uyghurs in work camps and on all that comes their U.S. free speech platform, that the
Which
U.S.
is
government
only
wants to shut
active in
down.
in outside of China. This app TikTok, as we know it, does not exist in mainland
Yeah, the
China.
way that we understand it, it doesn't exist yet.
There's a different parallel app that has a different algorithm. Different algorithms work differently, does different things,
We
and
talked about that
that's
on the
interesting.
show. Look at the show in the
Yeah,
past. We
yeah,
talked
we
about it.
have.
We went into some details.
Yeah. Okay, we interrupted you again, Seth. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what we can impart from this, without getting deep into any of it, but just to put it out there, is that when we're starting to understand the world that we live in, we need to understand it through this process of development and not just what meets the eye. As long as we constantly keep reacting to just what meets the eye, we're gonna be trying to solve not the problem. We're just going to be solving some like effect of an effect of an effect.
Right.
And
Right.
this is where the wisdom of Kabbalah comes and starts to reformat how you think and how you perceive, and start to see everything that's happening and start to see the layers, because like what we're talking about, it's a joke, right? The communist Chinese government is the one who's marching towards free speech in the U.S. And you have all of these young content creators in the U.S. fighting. And I saw you
So
guys sent me that video of the
convoluted.
older guy in his 70s, and
Yeah.
he's like, we
80s.
talk about
The
everything.
80-year-old
80s,
guy.
we talk about everything on TikTok. That's where my son, this is his community.
Right.
So it's very
And you
the
cannot
way
argue with his feeling, by the way. And you cannot argue that people do feel like, look, here's an example that is also something that a lot of people on TikTok are talking about. Again, just to make that point, there was this derailment of the that truck with poisonous material in the U.S.
The train, yeah.
Where were the train? Anyway,
Ohio.
so this thing happened, very serious thing. Many people on TikTok are saying, I only knew about it from TikTok, and it took like 3 or 4 or 5 days until something appeared in the mainstream media. And
I have my own testimony about that too.
Really, the
My parents, I
your
said,
parents,
I said, hey,
right?
we have some people, we have some friends in Ohio, and I was like, hey, how are they? They're like, what are you talking about? They
Right.
actually said,
And
we have not heard that
and
until you
and
said it.
and
Yeah.
people on TikTok knew about this several days before, and the extent to which they learned about it made them look at what the mainstream media came out with as, hey, they're clearly downplaying this whole thing that happened. So
on the other side of it.
yeah, so this is yeah, on the other side.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
On the other hand, when every mainstream media channel came out with, there's UFOs everywhere,
Right.
all of a sudden
Yeah,
a few weeks ago.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Oh, that
everyone,
really,
No, it's-
that really
CNN,
died, didn't it?
CNN, NBC, Fox, everyone all of a sudden cares about
Everyone's talking about
aliens.
UFOs
This
for
is
Release
the
the-
most
release-
important thing.
Come on,
Release
everybody.
the
It's time.
UFOs. We need the UFO
Yeah.
story now.
What are
Right
they-
about now.
Exactly. So it's the fun
Right.
part about all this is hopefully it's starting to become obvious to everybody that there's more than meets the eye in this
Okay.
reality.
Let's so we want to take everyone here on a bigger perspective, to a deeper and bigger, broader perspective that we can start observing through the lens of Kabbalah, right? But let me try to set this up a little bit, because I don't know how deep you planned to
deep
take
as
this. So
possible.
let's take it slow. So we're really talking about the question of who controls and what for the flow of information and the platforms of communication. That's really what we're asking here. We're raising the question. This whole TikTok ban controversy issue is bringing up the question of who controls the flow of information. What purpose does the flow of information serves? What is the true role,
Right.
or should be the role of media? Can we say that? It's interesting, by the way. When I thought about this a little bit before the show, the word in Hebrew for media is tikshoret. It's very cool, because tikshoret essentially means, Chris, how would you translate that? It's like that which connects. The thing,
An
the
adapter
thing,
kind of thing.
yeah, like the thing that makes connection, the thing that connects. That's essentially what is the meaning of the word tikshoret, media, in Hebrew. In English, I remember many years ago, there was an anthropologist, a U.S. anthropologist, Michael Wesch, and he did something that was really fascinating to me. He was one of the first scientists, like anthropologists, to look at the internet and social media as an anthropological kind of experience, and he did a whole analysis of YouTube from that perspective. This is like 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, like the very beginning of YouTube. And he said that, we clearly, looking at social media and what's happening, it was all new, right? He said media is really that which mediates human relations, because that's what it's doing. And it's essentially like the word in Hebrew, right? So at the moment, what is it that we're talking about for the last 20 minutes already? What we're seeing from this issue is that the flow of information at the moment, the platforms of communication, the things that connect humanity at the moment are, bottom line, are ruled by, governed by, abide by someone's bottom line, which is either power or money. It's so simple. And that's why the first lesson, from a Kabbalistic perspective, I'm even saying that, right? Don't think anyone is the good guy or the bad guy. I don't care whether it's TikTok or CNN or Facebook or NBC or the US government as a player in this game, the Chinese government as a player in this game. They're all, bottom line, just working to serve very simple thing. Are we getting more power here? Are we getting more money here? And sometimes it's both, and honestly, it's one and the same at the end of the day. So what does it mean? It means that all of the flow of information across people, across society, across human society, the flows of information, the platforms of communication, that which connects, the channels and pathways that connect the human organism, at the moment, they are designed not to connect us. They're designed to serve someone's bottom line. They're designed to increase someone's money or power, and the result is what you see. So when you see this TikTok ban and the hearing and this player, that player, just rest assured, know that it's very simple. Everyone is either looking for how they can maintain their power or how they can make their profit, or both. That's, at the end of the day, where this thing is coming from. and there's no good guys or bad guys. Everyone's a bad guy at the end of the day. And okay, we can go deeper from here, but just wanted to set this up.
When you
Yeah.
say everyone's
Go
a bad guy, let's quantify that or qualify that, because bad, what you mean, I think, is that everyone is motivated by profit.
Yeah, money, power, same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so bad doesn't mean that.
But it makes it sound like we're
trying-
choosing, like I could choose to do bad or something.
Oh.
I can't really choose.
Right.
That.
Let's put
Okay.
it like this.
Yep. Because we can go a couple of ways here. So I'm just going to shut up for a second.
Right. I'm still trying to figure out which direction we're going. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many, and this is kind of intentional. There's so many angles, so many interesting ones. So I wanted to kind of see where everyone wants to take a bite out of. So, full disclosure, I'm not a scientist, but from the little amount of research that I did on this, oysters, as the moon grows, as the moon goes towards full moon, oysters close their shells more. And as the moon goes towards new moon, like gets darker, the oysters open their shells back up.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right?
And there's a lot of similar things that happen with plants. And yeah, it's very, very cool. There's Our Universe on Netflix. No, but not that one. There's another one. Life in Color. Anyway, those documentaries, not necessarily just on Netflix, are very educational. Worthwhile watching.
I get
There's
likes
a bunch about
and
it.
views,
Yeah.
the more I justify the platform.
Oh,
I have
now I
no
see where you're
benefit from
going
it,
with
the
it.
more I don't
Wow.
care.
Okay.
The more
Gotcha.
likes
Okay,
and
nice.
views I get, the more I will, we could come up, I was thinking of them, they're all way too inappropriate for our show, but people can justify
Right?
any behavior if
Yeah.
the payment is enough,
Yeah.
and the justification that they tell themselves, we make ourselves feel righteous about the decision, or that it's the right thing if the payment is enough, so to speak. So it's not when you said before, like, we're all bad guys, really wanted to quantify that it's more like that. It's not bad as in kind of like a morally bad. It's just nature that we are just all.
It's
we have
just
this
our
price, this
modus
mechanism.
operandi. This is how we operate.
It's right.
That's what we are.
It's bad in light of something else, which would be good. Otherwise, you can't say it's bad.
Okay.
If you ask anybody else, that's just my normal
So that-
behavior.
that-
Hey, he's doing it. John's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Why is
Let's
that
talk
bad?
about it then.
And
Why?
if you-
Yeah, go ahead.
because it feels like there's a little bit of that to clarify, a little bit at least, because it's like we're talking about it as if like there's some kind of negative connotation, a little bit in some way, but it's only negative with respect to what the other side of that would be. If you're saying bad is for power and for money, right?
It's not.
Or even like Seth's
Well,
idea.
I think it's bad with respect to the goal, or the worthy goal, or the positive, the role, the true role that media should serve. I'm saying should. Why? Okay. Let's do this. In biological organisms, information flow serves what? What does it serve? It serves the health and well-being of the whole organism. Why do cells communicate? The information flow between your neurons allows coordination between your senses and your motorical output, right? Your endocrine systems that secretes hormones does that according to information that comes, specific signals, which then regulate, physiological processes in your body. Your immune system relies on reliable, constant flow of information in order to detect and fight off pathogens, I believe it's called, right?
Even if there's a block in the flow of information, it's still for temporary. It's still for the good of the whole.
Right.
It's not just letting everything flow all the time. There's also calculations behind it too.
And all of evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is essentially the flow of genetic information from one generation to the next. So everything, nature relies the well-being of an organism, the coordination of an organism, the prosperity of the organism, the evolution of an organism relies on the flow of information, and that is the goal of the flow of information. Now, humanity, whether we recognize it or not, is an organism. We are a global super organism. And we're on our way to discovering that. But at the moment, we so don't think that this is the case. And that's why, at the moment, our media, our flow of information serves money and power for individuals that essentially want to take over the system or grab hold of a certain portion of it and make it their own. This is cancerous behavior. And we're all part of this game. This is the current mode. It's not that, this is another thing that Kabbalah shows you, right? It's not, we're not blaming, the TikTok CEO or the US government or this is, put other people there, they'll behave the same ultimately. That is the current mode of being of the human organism. It is underdeveloped. It is not working towards its next level of evolution. And that's why the media looks the way it looks and operates the way it operates. That's why at the moment, as soon as you have power and money as the motive for media, you're going to get polluted or distorted or censored or limited media. Because it has to serve the interest of someone's power or money versus the well-being of the whole organism and its prosperity.
Meaning that it's being filtered
Simple as that.
through that concept.
An example.
If it wouldn't have filtered through the concept, it would just be free-flowing. And no one would care.
You open your TV, you watch CNN or Fox or whatever it is, right? What do they, who are they, the people who produce these news items, why do they do it? Well, they have a job to maintain. They need to get money. Who pays them? Follow the money. Who's in charge? There are people ultimately who have certain interests, and if their interests are not met, then if the news items don't go along with their agenda, then the people are not going to be working there anymore. It's that simple, And so you're not getting news that help you learn about what's happening in the world per se. Maybe you learn a little bit, but it's always mixed with, polluted by, distorted by the needs of a certain agenda. And so
but a person would be watching that, they would understand. They would say,
yeah. Go ahead.
But then they would say, like, okay, I get that they can't be full my own interest, the interest of the whole, because I get they have to make a profit. The idea couldn't get off the ground if it wasn't for some kind of motive that we all have to play. We all have to play the game. So I'm not really blaming anyone. I can't really get mad about it.
Exactly. And that also takes you to, we can go to a bunch of rabbit holes here, Seth, give us a direction here.
No, we're just flowing right now.
Okay. The thing is this. Do you remember, guys, the social dilemma? Is that was the name of it? The documentary?
Critique about social media.
Yeah, very good documentary. I would even say very educational and important for people to watch, just to understand what are those algorithms that drive the social media platforms that you use. But one of the things that got me from a Kabbalistic perspective is that I was really there was a moment when one of the people interviewed said, the interviewer was asking this expert, why this is happening. Why do the algorithms work this way? But why are they feeding you this kind of content or that kind of content? And the expert, I can't remember who it was, but he's eventually said, well, because they have to make money. Oh, so at the end of the day, you can go all the way just from this issue of the TikTok ban and social media and all that. You go deeper and deeper to the causes, and then you see that at the end of the day, if we don't change the economic system as well, then this thing is not going to change. And how do we change the economic system? You have to come up with a completely different kind of game between human beings to play between them. And how do you change that? Well, you have to change human beings themselves and what they're living for. And so this goes all the way
to steer.
This goes all the way. If you go down the rabbit hole, this goes all the way to the purpose of life. Go. Sorry.
Suppose
go ahead.
there's there's some very wealthy person or people, family person who owns media empires, right? Bill Gates, right? And he's
Yeah.
donating to all these, and you can Google all the media organizations. Or suppose there's some company that makes all their money from making bombs and wars, right? Or there's some politician who's keeps fighting these wars. Imagine, sometimes people think that there's just a few people all the way at the top who are creating these media empires that are ruining us. And they think that there's some companies that are pushing for war constantly because they profit so much, and they just keep pushing this because it ruins us, right? People feel that way. People feel there's some elites at the top, and they're the ones who are making it crappy for everyone below. I
Yeah.
think people
I think
agree
a
with
lot of
this.
people agree with this. By the way, Seth, you're giving now credit to people in a way that usually I
I'm
do.
about
I
to
do
flip
that
it.
usually.
Hey, good job.
Okay,
Follow
yeah,
with
good job, Seth.
Not most of them.
Wait, how was I giving credit? Oh, that people think
You
that-
said that
people
they
think
understand
that.
that they feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
I
Go
think
ahead.
people do think that there's some
You
kind
made
of
a question. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to turn it around based on what you said.
Okay.
That us valuing what we value today, us
Us, you
each
meaning the three of us?
everyone, all of us.
Okay.
No,
Us human
everyone.
beings. Okay.
Not the top of the pyramid. Those few families or those
Uh-huh.
few people who are controlling the media, controlling the bombs, controlling the wars, controlling our lives. Right? Those few at the top. I'm talking about all the people down below,
Yep.
just the common people. By us remaining detached from each other, each of us just going after what is important to us at the expense of everyone else, each of us being these separation relationships between us,
Yep.
this creates the conditions which powers those empires.
Right. Right. Okay.
And
That's
if
very deep. That's requiring people to see a very holistic picture of reality. But yeah, some it's actually not that far. I mean, at least academically, I remember. I mean, there are some sociologists, social thinkers, others that see this picture. That what you see at the top is only a reflection of and contingent upon what happens in the rest of the pyramid. It's a holistic system, and like the leaders you see are the reflections of the current state of the public, and vice versa. It's a
we are the
holistic
power
system.
source that fuels the existence of those
Yeah,
leaders. They're sustained there. They're held up in the air
right.
by
Because we
our
give them power.
constant
Yeah,
fights with each other, between our
yep.
constant scrolling
Do
through their
we give them
mess.
power though? We do, or
100%.
we're
That's
just kind of operating to according to our nature.
See, you can look
We're
at it
just going with
both
the flow.
ways.
They're
You can,
going with the flow.
yeah,
So not that we're doing it consciously,
yeah,
but that if we do become conscious and we do start, because let's put it like this: when we were all together in Israel for that unity event with people from dozens of countries and all those languages a month ago, I don't know, whenever that was,
Seth,
we're not
give a little
nobody
context. Seth is
What?
talking about, if you have no idea what Seth is talking about, there was an international Kabbalah conference or convention a month and a half ago already. Just a month ago. Wow, just a month
Five
ago.
lifetimes ago, but
Just a month
nobody-
ago, and there were representatives there from all humanity, pretty much. Yeah.
Nobody. I didn't see anybody there. We were there for, I think, 3 days together from morning till night. I didn't see anyone there going like this.
Right.
I didn't see anyone barely.
No,
on
not
their
at all,
phone
actually. Just
all.
yeah. Who even
And not because
remembered?
you're worried about someone stealing your phone, because everyone was so into
Yeah.
being together. So it didn't matter. Nobody in the top of those pyramids had any control over our thoughts at a time like that.
Oh, nice example. Nice example. Because
Hmm.
that was kind of part of the key. Like we even decided amongst us, we're like, we're gonna go there. We're gonna leave all the distractions. We're gonna leave the outside world. And we made it very clear to ourselves, by making these announcements that when we go there, we don't want to be distracted. So what happens when you're distracted? Your attention and what you think
You're
is pleasurable and what you think
you,
is important
you're
completely changes to
allowing
something
you're
else.
allowing another source to influence you, to direct your thoughts. It's either you,
Yeah, like what?
yeah.
Yeah, but what you think is pleasurable, what you think is fun, all those things you can get from, let's say, your phone, right? But which is actually just a keyhole to the outside world.
Hmm.
Or you can get them from another source. It has to come from somewhere. So either you're choosing it's coming from this place, or you're choosing that it's coming from this place. And what that said is, yeah, we decided we want to be influenced by this place instead. We basically just decided as a whole, kind of, that's what we did. And then if everyone plays according to that game, you actually do create an environment where no one's struggling to keep their phone in their pocket. It's not like they're fighting against it. There's no desire at all. That's kind of a difference here. And one,
Yeah.
the regular approach would be, oh, we need to fight it. We need to, I don't know. Look at the world now. All the band-aids and all of the going against the natural urges of the and human tendencies, going against it, or creating a different environment where you're not going against anything. You're creating a new desire that just is more important. And that way you don't have to fight anything. You're just going with what's more
Imagine some
important to you.
military industrial complex backed politician who has been in government for decades and we've been at war for decades, is running for office, and nobody pays attention to them. Everyone realizes my whole life there's been conflict. My whole life I've been fighting wars. My whole life you taxed me at 40%. My whole life I still don't have affordable health care. My whole life I've been bored in
Hmm.
school. Now my kids are bored in school. I'm not paying attention to you anymore. I want something else. And where's the fight? We're just not paying attention, and it just goes away. We don't have to fight that fight, a
Right.
whole other system. We start putting our energy into a whole different system.
I wanna add more Kabbalistic context to this, because we have it in the back of our minds, but maybe this is relevant for people listening to this, and it might sound again like we are, like there's like a for and against type of thing in what we're saying. Like there's good guys and bad guys. Like there's those in at the top, those that control, and those that are controlled. Um, um, I think to really understand what's happening with this TikTok issue, from a deeper perspective, and really to understand anything that's happening in the world today from a deeper perspective, we have to see what is the human organism going through right now. What is this phase of evolution that we're going through? And Kabbalah calls this phase that we're in right now the recognition of the human ego. That's where we are. So at the moment, all the channels, the pathways that connect us, imagine that we're like cells or neurons in a nervous system, or cells in an organism, or whatever it is, nodes in a network, right? The pathways, the links, the channels that connect us, which take the form of media and Facebook and TikTok and CNN and whatever, those channels at the moment, they are designed, each and every one of them, by design. They're designed for exploitation. They're designed for ultimately money and power, like we said. But what does that mean? That means that as an organism, all of our connections are underdeveloped right now. They are not working to their full potential. They're limited. They are restricted by this exploitation mode. And so this recognition is necessary in order for us to evolve to the next level of the human organism, where we actually begin to use media, that which connects us, to connect us. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be the next stage. And so this is why we're all in it right now. We're in this phase, as Kabbalists say, of recognizing the human ego. We need to recognize that our pathways, that our connection points are polluted, are underdeveloped, maybe is a better word. And that's why no one is really to blame here. This is part of the process. We just have to evolve to the next level. And how do we evolve? Just like everything in nature evolves towards more advanced connection between the elements. Whether it's, the still level that creates new periodic chemical elements created in the belly of planets that later come together and form new kinds of matter. Whether it's or whether it's a baby that is developing in a mother's womb. Ultimately, you're seeing more diversity between elements that then make up more advanced connections between them. This is what's happening to humankind, to humanity today. We're gradually being pushed by evolution to find a higher, more advanced level of connection. And that by definition will involve changing our media completely. Just imagine. Sorry, guys, I'm ranting here completely. But
you said changing the media. That's like the most superficial level. I understood that changing even economics or even changing
all of it will have to
how we
change,
view
because economics
that, then it changes.
What's economics?
You change
what's
the
economics?
foundation.
Economics is a reflection of human relations. It's about what we give to and receive from the whole. That's economics. Forget all the numbers and the banks and the stock markets and all of that. That's just, economic gibberish. At the end of the day, it's people relating to each other on a limited planet. That's it.
You named go back to named this time that we're in as the recognition of the human ego. Can you open that up a little bit?
Right. So really, I think
I want to look at the TikTok story. I want to look at like everything that's going on based on, like I just thought this example.
Let's workshop it. Let's workshop it together. I would start like this.
Hold on, let me show you an example.
Okay.
What is this?
What is
this? Is a Post-it that I use in my books.
Nice.
And this is a bottle of water. The point is that if you can name it, right? If it's turning this way, it feels like it's going down.
Oh,
now it
nice.
feels like it's going up.
Right.
But if it's moving in a direction, if you can name what's going on, then even though it looks like it's going down, it's going forward. Otherwise, you're just feeling, oh, it's going down. I hate them. Oh, now I feel good. Oh, now I hate them. Now I feel good.
Right.
But if you understand, if you can name.
But on the whole, this is like a wheel moving forward. This is evolution.
Right.
This is evolution.
And that's the value of understanding the system and naming what's happening in the system and understanding. Welcome to the wisdom of Kabbalah, everybody.
Exactly. There's no one really guilty here. We all have to evolve as a system. And look at a child that evolves. You can't blame a kid for being, for being a bad boy, for making a mess on the floor, for, not cleaning in their room, and, for checking their limits, their boundaries, yelling at their parents. This is part of their evolution. If you will put them in the best environment with the best education, they'll overcome this quickly. They'll move quickly. They'll learn fast. They'll have a better, smoother path, but they're going to have to evolve. They're going to have to evolve. And the same thing with us. We have to discover that we're connected, that we're interdependent. Now, if we get no education about it, if we learn nothing about the laws of nature, if we have no idea about that system that holds us together as a single organism, then we're just going to be fighting and biting until we recognize that, oh, this really sucks. And this can take thousands of years. Humanity learns very little from history, right? But if you add a vision of a perspective on the whole system, if we begin to consciously see that we are connected and inspire that perception in each other, then we can start advancing and going through the fighting and biting in a much more subtle, quick, smooth, painless way. That's what the whole, purpose of this is what Kabbalists call evolving by the path of consciousness, the path of light versus the path of suffering.
What does it mean that this period of time is called the revelation of the human ego?
that
again.
um,
So what is happening when we're
right.
looking at all this, when we see the news and we see the story about TikTok and the
Mm-hmm.
content creators are saying, no, this is free speech, but it's China and the government is saying this. And then you have Google not making as much money and this
Right.
and this. Where are we in the process? How should a person who wants to see what's going on in the world understand, just using this news story as an example, understand where we are and
Mm-hmm.
what's happening and what I should be concerned about, where I should be putting my
Right.
energy.
Yala, we got a few minutes left for the whole show from my watch. So let's workshop this. Um, I want me to Chris, you're gonna start.
I'm still my brain is still thinking about something else.
What are you thinking about?
But I was just thinking that humanity doesn't really even see, like, they don't see that they're in a process.
Mm,
It's hard to tell when you're in a process unless someone's telling you that you're in a process. And even if someone tells you, then it's hard to recognize it. Also, there's this kind of need for humans
mm.
to, I see a problem, I want the solution, I want the result
Like the
right now.
immediate,
It's
the
like bang
immediate
bang.
result. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I just see like this is kind of a hard thing to swallow, hard to digest, to put all these moving complex parts together. Even though we made it a little bit more simple, when you try to swallow it, it just feels like another, just like another drop in the ocean. Like in the end, we're just gonna have to wait for this thing to play out and feel like, this recognition of evil happens naturally. Nothing we can really do to speed it up. We're just gonna nuke each other. We're gonna destroy society. We're gonna destroy. On one hand, that's how it feels. On the other hand, it feels like, hey, there's people connected to our show right now. They're listening to us talk about what evil, recognition of evil, talking about processes, development. I'm in something, my body's going to die, but then humanity continues on and they're going through changes. They're like putting that all into one digestible pill that you can take and swallow and say, you know what? Things are going to be okay. We're going in the right direction. That's kind of difficult for me to feel that that's happening, especially with stories like this. But on the other hand, it's good that we can actually open our mouths and there's ears that are listening. And I guess that little drop in the pond is enough in the meantime. That's just kind of how I felt.
All right. You got
We're
you got
getting all riled
the
up with this TikTok thing. Is that's how I got. That's where I came from.
you've got the Chris vibe, Seth.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, what are you looking at? What you're looking over? Oh, he's probably getting a song ready. You songing
Ah,
us?
I'll say
Oh, he's on
this.
mute. Oh, he's on
Well,
mute.
he is on mute, but he is probably looking for a song to.
That's where I went.
No,
Don't make it so obvious next time.
yeah, I agree with Chris here. You know that um, realistically, the when I look at my son, right? There's always we all have kids. I'm sure we can all identify where there's moments where you look at your kid making a mistake or just spending a lot of energy, a lot of passionate anger, even just being really immersed in something that they don't necessarily need to be so worked up about. But on the other hand, as a parent, you know that he kind of has to go through it, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing you can do unless except for just supporting, wanting their best interests, loving them, hoping the best for them. And in terms of studying Kabbalah and practicing Kabbalah, being a Kabbalist, that's kind of the two ends of our work. That on the one hand, you get a glimpse of this connected future state of humanity, of reality. This incredible harmony that exists in nature and wants to be revealed among human beings. You get a glimpse of it daily, and so you naturally want everyone to feel that, to be part of that, to
Mm-hmm.
and on the other hand, that has to do, everyone has a free choice in their development. Everyone needs to evolve of their own accord. Everyone needs to. And so on the other hand, there's only so much you can, talk about and share, and the rest of it is really just your desire. We call it in Kabbalah, oh no, bad word, prayer, but it's really prayer is not something you utter. It's not something written in a book. This innermost desire of yours for for healing the world, for bringing the world to a higher level of development, is really sometimes the only thing that you can really do. But we're all one system. We're all one network. And even when people even for those who are not listening right now, and that's most of humanity, we're still a network and we're all connected. And therefore, ultimately, everything ripples through. Everything is the true flow of information from a spiritual perspective is already there. All
It's
of
still
humanity.
getting through.
Yes,
It's
yes.
it's not limited by Congress or algorithms or a
It
Chinese
isn't.
app or a US app.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hopeful.
We're already making it happen. There's another technology will reveal that we don't even need the phones. Maybe we'll even see it in our lives, that all of a sudden all of these
Oh.
ideas.
Sorry.
What? Tell us.
Well, go
It
ahead.
just reminded me. I know we're going to talk about AI again pretty soon, but I had this thought whenever you just said that, like without the phones, when you just said that, there's this, like, AI is now generating imaginary people, right, that don't exist, with imaginary voices, creating imaginary text and conversation. And it's like, eventually you're going to have, like, I don't know if you saw the whole Microsoft Copilot thing, but basically, you're not even writing emails anymore. So you're not even writing emails to someone that you're sending it to, who also is not going to be writing emails to you. It's also, so it's like computer against computer with like a little human standing behind. And it feels like, it's like, what are we boiling down to? We're not even connecting with each other anymore, communicating with them, words, phones, emails. That's also kind of going away. You can see that with this like AI revolution, what's happening. We're kind of being like pushed away even from actually having to communicate. So what's left? There's some kind of inner thing that we haven't tapped into that's waiting for us to discover. That's what it feels like. So that seems kind of exciting. I'm sure we'll talk about that again in upcoming shows, because there's a lot happening. I get very excited about that.
Yeah,
But
what a week
yeah,
for
without
AI.
phones, we don't need it. Yeah.
What a
We'll
week for AI. What happens is, everyone, the more we start building these connections, the more we start feeling them, separate from how my stomach feels and separate from my mood. Because just like the oyster that opens and closes based on the moon, we also are reacting to the moon and to the sun and to everything, to the seasons. We feel different in the
Right.
spring than we do in the winter. We're completely also affected by all of those systems, but we also have another system called a spiritual system. And to start aiming more energy qualitatively, quantitatively also into that system until we start feeling that structure. We have an incredible opportunity to do that. The three of us will be in Holland on May 5th to 7th, I think it is, if we can post the link there, for the Kabu retreat, our first European retreat. We'll go through all kind of content, experiences, practical Kabbalah. We'll give content and then a chance to implement it, and content and a chance to implement it. It's a very warm environment. You can participate physically, which would be great. We'll be there with music and food and events, and we'll also have the event virtually if you're unable to travel. So please check us out. The link will be in the chat there. And we will be back here to talk about what's going on through the lens of the wisdom of Kabbalah next Thursday. The time will change in the U.S.
No, in Israel,
Yes.
it'll change.
No, here. Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
2
It
p.m.
already
Eastern.
changed in the
New
2
York
p.m.
time.
Eastern.
2 p.m. New York time. Okay. Next Thursday. We'll see you there.
We'll keep
everybody.
going.
Thank you.
Let's do it. See ya.
And when the night returns, I cannot see. So here I am again, heartsick and fallen free. The longing never ceases, the loneliness increases, the heart just breaks in pieces. Where are we? We are standing all together up on the next degree. We are the ones that live present with everything you've got. We are standing all together up on the next degree, where I'm wrapped inside of you, you are wrapped inside of me.